Hello, I am Shivaji Bhaskar, Faculty of Russian at the School of Foreign Languages, IGNOU. I welcome you all to this course. Basics of Russian Communication Skills Part 1. As you remember that in our previous modules we have discussed about the various nuances of the Russian grammar. We have also came across many cases of the Russian case system, and we have discussed with the help of dialogues and words and expressions of the instrumental case. Now, in this module, we shall also be discussing about various nuances of the instrumental with the help of dialogues. Please pay attention to these dialogues, construction of sentences, words, expressions, as well as the verbs in a conjugated forms which we are going to use, so that you can also discuss with your family and friends about how to use these kind of constructions in your own style. Now let's pay attention to the dialogue first. Ребята, вы хотите играть в теннис с нами? Давайте, мы сейчас свободны. Вы обычно играете в это время? Да, в это время еще не темно. So, in this small dialogue, we have constructions of instrumental as well. Like, ребята, вы хотите играть в теннис? С кем? С нами. So here we have used the pronouns. Whenever in any case we have the nouns, adjective, pronouns, verbs, etc., all of them are important in order to make the sentence so that we can convey the message or meaning which we want to convey. Now in this we have used the expression ребята. In Russian, this expression is widely used. To say like in English, we use guys. So for guys in Russian, we have the word ребята. Вы хотите играть в теннис с нами? Would you like to play tennis with us? So this again expression is very important. Вы хотите. Хотеть means to want. Would you like to, or would you want to? Играть, to play. Tennis. Tennis means lawn tennis, because if we want to say the table tennis, for that in Russian we have another word which means ping pong. So, вы хотите играть в tennis? Would you like to play tennis with us? С нами. Давайте. Let's, for давать, давайте, it's an expression to say, alright, let's go, let's do it. So like this, you can also use the expression давайте. Мы сейчас свободны. We are free now. To say free, we use the word свободный. Я свободный. Ты свободный. Мы свободны. So like this. So to say I am free, we normally use the expression свободный, which means free. Вы обычно играете в это время? Do you play often at this time? So обычно is mean usually, normally. Вы обычно играете в это время, at this time? Да, в это время еще не темно. Еще не темно means it's not dark yet. So that is why they want to play at this time as well. So with a very small conversation, we have used many different kind of expressions which belong to Russian language, along with the construction of sentences using the verbs. Now let's go ahead and pay attention to the next dialogue. Rita, что вы сейчас делаете? Rita, what are you doing right now? Я занимаюсь русской грамматикой. I am practicing Russian grammar. Завтра у нас экзамен по грамматике. Tomorrow we have our exam on grammar. So here you can see very easily that we have used the name Rita, which is also found in Russia, Rita. Что вы сейчас делаете? What are you doing right now? For right now, it means сейчас. Я занимаюсь русской грамматикой. So, заниматься, we use this verb in the парительный. So, русская грамматика changes into русской грамматикой. Завтра у нас экзамен по грамматике. Завтра means tomorrow. У нас экзамен по грамматике. Грамматика, грамматике. After the usage of по. Сунита, вы переписываетесь с девушкой из Франции? Sunita, do you correspond with the girl from France, с которой вы недавно познакомились, with whom you met not very long ago, недавно. So like this, you can also make your own constructions. In this, we have used the construction переписываться to correspond. С девушкой. So девушка, feminine neuter singular, changes into девушкой. And from France, this expression we have used is Франции. Франция changes into is Франции. Suppose if we have Россия, so it would change into is России. If we want to use India, it would be is Inji, because India in Russian. So like this, the name of any other country you can also use. For example, America is Ameriki. So like this, you can use any different names of any country while making your own dialogue. Now let's go ahead and pay attention to the rest of the dialogue. Да, мы с ней стали хорошими друзьями. Да, yes, мы с ней, we became very good friends. Мы стали. Whenever we have the construction of stać, which means to become, we always follow the rules of the grammar for творительный. So that is why хорошие друзья changes into хорошими друзьями. Алексей, где вы живете? Алексей, where do you live? Я живу за этой старой библиотекой. I live behind this old library. Here again you can see the construction belongs to творительный after the usage of з. And эта старая библиотека changes into этой старой библиотекой. Глеб, кем хочет стать ваш младший брат? Gleb, what your younger brother wants to become. So again we have used the verb стать. And according to the rules of the grammar for творительный, ваш младший брат would change into он хочет стать врачом, он хочет стать инженером, etc. Now let's go ahead to see what Gleb's younger brother wants to become. Он хочет стать известным актером. Он, he wants to become известным актером, means famous actor. So известный актер changes into известным актером. Then we have наш преподаватель polyglot. Our professor is a polyglot, which means the one who knows too many languages. Я не знал, I didn't know, а какие языки он знает, and what are the languages does he know? Он свободно владеет английским, французским, немецким языками. Он свободно владеет. He knows English, French, and German languages. So here in this construction, after the usage of владеть, the question is чем. So английским, французским, немецким языком. So changes into, because we are talking about many languages, that is why языки changes into языками. Okay, now let's go ahead. Бегло говорит на них and speaks them fluently. Он хорошо знает японский и корейский языки. He knows Japanese and Korean language. Yes, он хорошо знает японский и корейский языки. He knows well the Japanese and the Korean languages. С кем разговаривает Антон? With whom Anton is talking? Антон разговаривает со своим близким другом. Anton is talking with his close friend. For close friend, we have the expression in Russian близкий друг. Suppose if somebody is close female friend, then the expression changes as близкая подруга. So like this, you can also use all these dialogues with different kind of nouns, expressions, and verbs which we have used, and make your own dialogues in order to understand the nuances of the grammar easily. I hope all these concepts are absolutely clear to you. Now let's go ahead in order to understand a few more new concepts. Like we already know the verb stać, which means to become, but so far we don't know how to conjugate it. So now let's conjugate stać. Я стану, ты станешь, он она станет, мы станем, вы станете, они станут. So all these constructions you can use with the help of conjugated forms of the verb stach and use the construction of the tvarichalni afterwards in the adjectives and nouns. For example, on khochit stach kharoshim vrachom. So instead of khochit stach, we would use stach. On stanit, he becomes kharoshim vrachom, he becomes good doctor. So like this, it indicates towards the usage of tvarichalni after the usage of stach. Now let's pay attention to another dialogue which we have used to make you understand the usage of the tvarichalni. Let's pay attention to the model. Где летать птицы? Высокое здание. Где летают птицы? Птицы летают над высоким зданием. So nad and pad. Nad means above. So where the birds are flying? Birds, птицы летают, birds are flying над высоким зданием, above the tall buildings. So here again we have used the expression nad in order to indicate the usage of tvarichalni. Now let's go ahead and pay attention to the rest of the dialogue. So now, after knowing various aspects of the tvarichalni, we shall take one more text on the great Soviet, now Russian cosmonaut Valentina Treshkova. You must all be knowing about her because she was the first woman who went to space. So I would like to read the text about Valentina Treshkova in Russian. Then we will understand the text with the help of English translation and then we will analyze it. Valentina Vladimirovna родился 6 марта 1937 года в Ярославской области. Она была хорошей студенткой и регулярно занималась спортом. В свободное время она ходила в аэроклуб и любила прыгать с парашютом. В конце 1601 года в Советском Союзе было принято решение о подготовке женщин к полету в космос. В следующем году была сформирована группа космонавтов, состоящая только из женщин. Валентина Трeshkova вошла в эту группу. Первый в мире полет женщины-космонавта состоялся 16 июня 1963 года. Валентина Трeshkova провела на орбите 2 суток, 22 часа 50 минут. Женщина-космонавт не сказала своим родителям о том, что полетит в космос. Они знали об этом из средств массовой информации. Валентина Трeshkova удостоена высокого звания Герой Советского Союза. В настоящее время Валентина Трeshkova занимается общественной деятельностью. So here in this text we have came across many aspects of the life of great Valentina Treshkova, who has been the recipient of the hero of the Soviet Union medal. Now we shall understand the text with the help of English translation, then we would analyze it and understand various constructions of the text with the help of Russian grammar and understand its nuances. Valentina Vladimirovna родился 6 марта 1937 года в Ярославской области. Valentina Treshkova was born on the 6th of March, the year 1937, in the Yaroslavsky Oblast. Она была хорошей студенткой и регулярно занималась спортом. She was a very good student and regularly she practiced sports. В свободное время она ходила в аэроклуб и любила прыгать парашютом. In her free time, she would go to the aero club and play with the parachute. В конце 1601 года в Советском Союзе было принято решение о подготовке женщин к полету в космос. In the end of the year 1961, in Soviet Union, a decision was taken to train women for the flight in the space. В следующем году была сформирована группа космонавтов. The next year, a group of the cosmonauts was formed, состоящая только из женщин, which was formed only by women. Treshkova вошла в эту группу. Treshkova also entered this group. Первый в мире полет женщины-космонавта состоялся в 16 июня 1963 года. The first space flight done by any woman was happened on the 16th of June 1963. Valentina Treshkova провела на орбите 2 суток, 22 часа 50 минут. Valentina Treshkova did 2 rounds in the orbit of almost 22 hours and 52 minutes. Женщина-космонавт не сказала своим родителям о том, что полетит в космос. The woman cosmonaut did not tell her parents that she is going to fly in space. Они знали об этом из средств массовой коммуникации. So they got to know about this from the mass communication source. Valentina Vladimirovna удостоена высокого звания. Valentina Treshkova is a very high name. Valentina Treshkova earned a very high honor, the hero of the Soviet Union. В настоящее время Валентина Трешкова занимается общественной деятельностью. At present, Valentina Treshkova is busy in doing the social activities. So, with the help of English translation, you have came across many aspects of the life of great Valentina Treshkova. Now, we shall analyze the text. Valentina Vladimirovna родился 6 марта 1937 года. In this sentence, we have come across the verb родиться. In the past form, родилась for feminine gender singular noun Valentina Vladimirovna. Когда она родился? 6 марта 1937 году. So, whenever we have the date, so the construction of the sentence would be когда она родилась. So, if we want to say only the year, then it would be в 1937 году. And if we have the date and the month, then it should be the case of genitive. Родилась 6 марта 1937 года. Alright? So, I hope this concept is clear. When and what style we need to use the grammar. If we have the name of the person with the birth date, month and year, then genitive. And if only the year, then prepositional. Она родилась в Ярославской области. В is a predlog or a preposition, that is why Oblast, Yaroslavskaya Oblast changes into Yaroslavskai Oblasti. Oblast is like a town or it's like a state. In Russian, we use the word Oblast. Она была хорошей студенткой и регулярно занималась спортом. Она была хорошей. Here the construction of творительный again. We have used хорошая студентка as хорошей студенткой. Она была Кем она была? Она была хорошей студенткой. И регулярно занималась чем? Заниматься чем? What did she practice regularly? Sport. So, sport changes into спортом. В свободное время она ходила в аэроклуб. В свободное время она ходила куда? Она ходила в аэроклуб. So, aeroclub means aeroclub remains same whenever we are using it with the verbs of motion. Она ходила. Она ходила. She went to the aeroclub. So, like this you can also change. However, in place of aeroclub, if we have any other word, so we can use that as per the gender of the noun. Suppose in place of aeroclub, if we have stansia, it would be Ana khajila stansiu. So you have to keep these nuances of the Russian grammar when you are changing the endings of the noun. И любила играть, и любил прыгать с парашютом. Любить прыгать с чем? С парашютом. So that is a parachute, which means parachute changes into parashutam. Now let's go ahead and pay attention to the rest of the text. В конце 1961 года. Whenever we use конце, which means at the end, then the year would also be used as the genitive. 1961 года. If without конце, then в 1961 году. So this concept you also need to remember while using them in your own text or vocabulary. В Советском Союзе. So Советский Союз, which means Soviet Union, changes into after the usage of preposition as в Советском Союзе было принято решение о подготовке женщин к полету в космос. Решение means decision was taken about подготовке женщин, the training or induction of women in the flight to cosmos, like space. В следующем году была сформирована группа космонавтов. Next year, there was a group of women cosmonauts was done. Состоящая только из женщин, which was formed only by women. Treshkova вошла в эту группу. Treshkova вошла куда? Группа changes into группу. Treshkova вошла в эту группу. Первый в мире полет женщин космонавта состоялся 16 июня 1961 года. So, the first women in space состоялся was done on the 16th of June 1963. So like these kind of constructions you can also use. Then Valentina Treshkova провела на орбите 2 часа 50 минут. So here you know that she has completed 2 rounds of completely 22 hours 50 minutes in this space. Женщина-космонавт не сказала своим родителям. Не сказала кем? Своим родителям о том, что полетит в космос. Here again it's a good example of the construction of the творительный падеж. Они узнали об этом. Они узнали. They got to know. Узнать. О ком? О чем. So it's a good example of we have used the preposition. Об этом. About this. Is from source. From the source of information technology, from the mass communication technology. So that time through radio or television they got to know about this news that their daughter is going to the space and she has already done 2 rounds in space completing 22 hours and 50 minutes. So it was a news for parents of Treshkova. Let's go ahead and pay attention to the last part of the text. Valentina Vladimirovna Valentina Treshkova удостоена высокого звания. So she earned a very high name. Удостоена высокого звания. So when you earn high names, for this expression we have удостоена высокого звания. So Герой Советского Союза. So Герой Советского Союза means hero of the Soviet Union. This is an expression which was used during Soviet times when somebody has done exceptional work. They used to get this highest order, highest honor from the government that time, which is known as Герой Советского Союза. В настоящее время Валентина Владимировна занимается общественной деятельностью. So right now in the present time, Treshkova is practicing or is doing social activities. Here again it's a good example of the usage of the verb заниматься, which is being used with творительный. Общественная деятельность changes into общественной деятельностью. So like this you can also make your own sentences while using the same pattern of construction of the sentences, while using tvarichelny or any other cases which we have learned in the previous modules. Now let's see the question based on the text. So the first question is, когда родилась Валентина Трeshkova? The second one is, чем она занималась в свободное время? Third one is, когда состоялся первый полет женщины-космонавта в мире? The fourth one is, сколько часов Валентина Трeshkova провела в орбите? And the last one is, чем занимается Валентина Трeshkova в настоящее время? Let's see the questions once again, and I would like you to answer them while reading the test and answer them properly as per the requirement of the grammar. Когда родилась Валентина Трeshkova? When did she was born? The second one is, чем она занималась в свободное время? What does she do when her free time? The third one is, когда состоялся первый полет женщин-космонавт в мире? When was the first women flight went to the space in the world? The fourth one is, сколько часов Valentina Treshkova провела на орбите? How many hours did Valentina Treshkova spend in the orbit? Чем занимается Valentina Treshkova в настоящее время? And what Valentina Treshkova does at this present time? So all these questions are basically based on the text. You can very easily go through the text, look at the construction, look at the meaning, and then use your creativity and answer the question as per the requirement of the questions. In which form we are asking you all these questions. I hope you all enjoyed this text very much. We shall be discussing with many more texts in our upcoming modules about the nuances and the basics of Russian grammar. Thank you. Katori will also change. For masculine, it would be katori. For neuter, it would be katore.